Hi there, I'm Steve Reed from the website leanerbydesign.com. Thanks for joining me today. I've got another short video for you. I'm going to try and keep it shorter than yesterday's, which went on to 20 minutes. I like to talk, I blabber a little bit, so apologies. We are going to talk today again about intermittent fasting. Really just to try and give you a little bit of clarity about what to expect, some potential benefits that fasting can have for you. And I just want to put a precursor on there that not everybody appears to be suited for intermittent fasting, daily fasting, fasting a couple of times a week, or potentially a longer fast on a less frequent basis. For all sorts of reasons, some of them hormonal reasons, some of them emotional reasons, physiological reasons. Some people don't get on with it so well, but a lot of people do. Men in particular have a lot of success, and women actually can do quite well, but they do need to make some tweaks, usually on the period of the fast, which is relatively straightforward to do. But I'd like to just talk about a few of the potential benefits that people see from fasting, and a lot of this is anecdotal, but it is backed up by research as well. I'm not going to really harp on into the research of intermittent fasting. One thing you can do is go over to precisionnutrition.com. Dr. John Berardi, who's one of the leading nutrition coaches and PhDs on nutrition in the world, I actually did my training with his company to become a nutrition coach. He's put together an awful lot of information, including a really comprehensive intermittent fasting PDF where he tested all sorts of protocols over a number of months and came up with what he thought was good and maybe not so good. So realistically, if you want to start a daily fasting protocol, something like a 16-8 daily fast, which would mean fasting for 16 hours, usually from evening, last meal in the evening, to sometime around noon the next day, what are you going to get from that? Well, first of all, one thing that I really like about fasting, particularly daily fasting, is the simplicity that it creates for your life. Food is a wonderful thing. We enjoy it. We like to eat. We enjoy the social and the cultural aspects, the family aspects of enjoying a meal together. But what I think is important to point out is that at its most basic level, food is energy for your body, for you to live and survive. As time's gone on and we've got more types of foods and we've got wonderful chefs creating all this amazing looking food for us, we seem to have forgotten that at its purest form, food is fuel. Doesn't mean you shouldn't enjoy it, but it's worth noting that because an awful lot of people have completely forgotten about the fact that food is fuel for your body, and it's just seen as a free-for-all of craziness and eating as much as you can and eating 7 desserts after you've had your main meal. So let's look at fasting and the simplicity that intermittent fasting brings to you. Now, an awful lot of people are quite tied to either the vending machine, the canteen at work, the kitchen, because they feel that they have to be eating multiple meals per day at regular intervals. So let's say for a lot of people, getting up, having breakfast, not really a big deal. Then there's lunch and dinner. But a lot of people find that they need to have a mid-morning snack, possibly a snack late morning, a snack or two in the afternoon. In fact, I've been around people who have breakfast and then literally within 2 hours, 10 o'clock in the morning, they say, I'm starving, I've got to eat. I'm going to pass out if I don't eat. I'm starting to get the jitters. Now, a lot of that is more than likely a product of their eating behaviour over time, which has caused their body to react in that way. Now, with fasting, you get to a point where you could easily go most of a day, even till later in the evening, without eating, without losing energy levels, without becoming weak and jittery, without feeling that you're going to faint, and the anxiety that comes with that and not having a constant food supply. I've certainly travelled to different countries where I've been at the airport and been flying when it's not conducive to eating. And I can do that quite happily. And lots of people who do a daily fast find that the freedom that it brings not to always constantly be thinking about food or needing to eat every hour or two really brings an awful lot of freedom and relief from the anxiety that a lot of people face with food. So that's one thing. Although there are potentially some good health benefits, which I think will probably in later years, as research goes on, they'll come to fruition and we'll actually get some real hard evidence on that, although it's already there to some extent. There are some health benefits, the benefits of possibly longevity, the potential benefits of cellular repair and regeneration, reduced inflammation in the body, which is known to be very highly linked and correlated with all sorts of modern diseases, heart disease, cancer, diseases of affluence. So, although those benefits possibly will be proven to be completely correct and factual, intermittent fasting isn't a magic bullet that's gonna, you start doing it, you're gonna get a six-pack and the body of a fitness competitor and you're going to live to 147. All these extra little benefits are probably quite small in reality. So for you and for me and for an awful lot of people who do fast, the freedom to be able to eat or not eat at will is fantastic. The mental clarity that people seem to have and feel, the stable energy levels throughout the day rather than dips, highs and lows and peaks and troughs of energy and no energy. And it's not a nice feeling, it's not a nice way to be, and fasting does seem to provide a much more stable level energy, but it can take a little while to adapt to that, a week or two. Don't expect to go straight into fasting and feel fantastic on the first day. You might, but there may be an adaptation period. So, simplicity, fantastic. One of the really good things about intermittent fasting is that it works very well with an awful lot of modern lifestyles. So, for argument's sake, most people in the Western world enjoy socialising, they enjoy eating with their families, they enjoy a meal out, and that tends to be on the evening. For most people, the largest meal of the day is usually in the evening. Now, with daily fasting, it's a really great way of managing your calorie intake, your food intake throughout the day, and still being able to enjoy a little bit of decadence on the evening and being able to go out with friends, not necessarily worry about how many grams of fat have I eaten? Have I eaten too many carbs? Can I have a dessert? You'll find that as you get into fasting and you start to find ways of tweaking things to suit your lifestyle, that you can very easily and simply adapt your eating for a day to suit your needs for that day. Sometimes it takes a little bit of foresight, but it's really not a big deal. And one of the nicest things is to be able to enjoy your meal with your family or your friends without guilt, without thinking, oh my God, I can only have a salad and a boiled chicken breast because I've only got 450 calories left for the day. With a daily fast, you remove the calorie intake during the early part of the day, bearing in mind that you're going to have been fasting since the night before, so you already fasted over the nighttime period. Everybody does that pretty much, unless you're in the fridge at 3 o'clock in the morning. But you can extend that fast very simply. Doesn't usually take an awful lot of willpower, becomes very, very easy over time, and you compress the times, your eating window, into a smaller window. So usually you may have an eating window of say 9 a.m. Now let's say probably 7 a.m. till 8 or 9 p.m. So we could be talking about 14 hours that you will eat. Now if you just take that and compress it down to between noon and 8 p.m. and have a couple of meals, possibly a little snack, possibly a piece of fruit as a bridging snack if you do start to feel a little bit peckish at about 4 o'clock or 5, you can eat bigger meals and you can reduce your calorie intake quite easily without those feelings of restriction, hunger, and all the things that we really don't want when we're trying to lose some weight, lose some body fat. Now, for a lot of people, at the start, keeping an eye, monitoring your calorie intake is a good idea. I don't think it's good for the long term because nobody wants to be counting calories on an app for the rest of their lives. It's not healthy, it's not enjoyable. You become self-obsessed, you become obsessed with food, you become obsessed with the types of food you can and you can't eat. But to be able to see the sort of calorie intake that certain foods provide for you, processed foods versus whole unprocessed foods, you'll be able to see how much you can eat of this type of food versus that type of food. And over time, over a period of a few weeks or a couple of months, you're going to be able to really gravitate away from being quite so specific and particular about how much you're eating. Now, if you're somebody who is looking to go down to 6 or 8% body fat for some reason, you want to have an amazing six pack, you're a fitness competitor or fitness athlete, you need to have low levels of body fat, then it could well be that as you get closer to those targets, those goals, you do need to pay more attention to the actual intake. But there's also plenty of anecdotal evidence that fitness competitors who you think are body beautifuls, they're really lean, they look fantastic, these people suffer from the same or worse binging issues and disorders as the rest of us. I've been a personal trainer for quite a few years now. I've been a nutrition coach. I know quite a lot about food and about how I should eat and the types of habits that cause me to go off track. But I still make mistakes. I'm no better than you. I still suffer from the same, some of the emotional issues, some of the societal and cultural issues, some issues that are influenced by my previous experiences in life. No one's asking you to be perfect, and anybody who tells you that this diet is going to be the diet that is going to project you from constant failure through the rest of your life when it comes to diets to this is the one, this is the thing that's going to save you, is basically bullshitting you. You're going to have highs, you're going to have lows, and that's expected and it's normal. You can learn from them, you can tweak, you can adapt, you can change your eating times so that you're eating your main meal, your quality food, at the time that you would usually be going to the biscuit tin. These are tiny little things, and I've had these problems myself, and you kind of go, oh my God, that's just so straightforward, that's so simple. Why didn't I see that? I know about this stuff, I've seen it in other people, but when it's you, it's often difficult to see the wood for the trees, and it takes somebody else to say, hey, how about this? And you say, that's so straightforward, if only I'd realised. But we become very, very involved with, particularly when we're trying to lose weight or when we're trying to get to some body goal, we become very, very focused, and we sometimes do lose perspective on things. So I would definitely say give fasting a go. It is a great lifestyle, and it can really help you to meet a lot of your body goals and your health and fitness goals over time. But as I said, it's not a magic bullet. You've got to do it, and I'm there to help you as much as I possibly can. And come onto my website, leanerbydesign.com, have a look through some of the posts, some of the articles, some of the responses that I've had from other people, some of the comments that have been left on the site, and drop me an email at Steve Reed, that's Reed, R-E-E-D, at leanerbydesign.com. Leave a comment on any of the posts and I'll get back to you. I want to help you with this journey, and it doesn't have to be hard. Diet, losing weight, for most people is actually quite a simple process. It's not easy, but it's simple. And my job and my passion in all this is to make things as simple and straightforward and understandable as I can so that you get to where you want to be. Okay, fantastic. Speak to you soon. Cheers.